Discord chart discussion starts us off with SPY. We're looking for 362.17 to hold. That's Friday's low. It's also the low on the weekly. Push above 369.38 takes us into the 377 range. Then we're looking for a break above 383.90 in order to push above for this gap fill here. That will be 389.75. This overhead supply right here, there's not much, but I would look to scale out if taking longs at a 362.17 hold. Flow on ETFs is always tricky. I can see in the heat map here though that we have 380 strike being targeted. These were being bought to open, as well as we have signature prints for the majority of the day around 365.23 in after hours. As we look ahead at other dark pool prints, they are scattered above. CHWY's next. It is consolidating its 2-year point of control. I'd like to see the 22.22 level hold so it doesn't create a new low. If we're looking to be bullish, we're looking for a break above 29.07 into 31.72. There's some slight supply here overhead. If we can get past that, our next target level would be this low here, which right around 36.61. Full shift in structure, you would be looking for a break above 52.39, which is pretty far out. So I would not take this short until it broke this 22.22, and I wouldn't take it high until it could clear out, you know, this day right here of 30. Flow for CHWY, we had some S-side puts, the 28.5, as well as, well, these were filled on the bid below here. IV decreasing, contract price increasing. It's looking like that they're long puts, and they were loading into it. Heat map shows the same as well, but really the flow dollar-wise, nothing really to be concerned with. Next up, we have GameStop. GameStop saw a nice bounce rate down here at the lower value area, looking to clear 135.86 to push us into 139.37. This high right here of 153 coincides with this yearly point of control at 151.61. It does appear price is heading that way. I'd be careful if we get a rejection there, because that will be a smaller time scale triple top. Generally, the more time that these resistances get tested, they do break though. So as long as you can break through this overhead supply, your next price target will be this 173.62 level, as well as this high right here. This will be your 199.41. As long as you break above the 151.61, the price target will be 210.98. Bear case for GameStop would be a break below this 115.56. Then you would be targeting this recent low here at 77.64. Flow wise for GME was actually pretty good this week. We're seeing some S-side 500s, bid 510s. This is a long Vega play. We had this unusual dark pool activity here coming at 134.40, which is nice. It's looking like the 134 strike. These were all on Friday expiration. Heat map. Yep, they rolled out to the 135s for next week. Other than that, it's kind of, you know, people gambling on it, but I do like the setup. CLF is next. I would like to see this 1581 low level hold. If looking to play downside, I would look for 1685 break into 1661, and then 1581 would be your target. If it fell through this 1581 level, there's not much below it. Check it out on a larger time frame. Next level I would target would be this 12, almost 13 and a half. 13 and a half, you have some supply here, and at 12.7 would be that low. If you lose that 1277, you're really dropping hard. For a bull scenario, I would like to see 1795 come up, get mitigated, target these gap fills here. So you have overhead supply again at 1971, as well as 2090, and then 23 range, which puts us back up here in the hourly point of control on the 20-day. Yearly is 1993 with a bull target of 2583. CLF had dark pool print at 1709. Looks like some 16 calls at the bid were coming in for this coming week, and 17.5 calls at ask. 2+ weeks out, we're looking at the 19 call. I'll filter this down to some larger flow. Yeah, there's really nothing much going on here. VTNR is up next. Bring this down to the yearly. So price cascading down, 1066 would be the target for support, with a large volume node down here at 852. This is a lot of volume. Look at this candle here. I would also be looking at, for a rebound above 1217 would then target you to this 14 range, then 1459 up through to 1661. 18.1 was this recent high. I wonder if this was all time. Yeah. So it's important to zoom out and see where this thing is went. It went from $2 up into 18. So yeah, this really could come down far. Flow wise for it, VTNR, we had an unusual very large block at 1182. It was for 65 million and 4.4 million. We can see it here depicted on the chart. Heat map, 17.5 calls for 2+ weeks out, almost 4,000 of them. 25 calls are another 4.6. That's interesting. Where that was 17.5. So that's these two right here. January 20th, 2023. IV remained the same. Contract price, it did increase. And they haven't come in to close them. It's interesting. That's a bull bet. I would take that as bull flow, targeting that area. Shop is next. So on the 5-year daily chart, we can see that price is currently trading at this large node here. Right here. See that? And then we're back to it. So I like this area. I am long calls. What I'd like to see happen is for shop, I'd like it to hold that low right around, it was lower than that, 297.64. So this is where I added, right at the 299 range. If price can remain above 316.90, let's say, we'd be targeting 344, 368, and then up to this range right here, about 371. If you wanted to long commons here for post split, it's not a bad bet. Now in the longer term view, 109.98 is point of control, but so many things would have to go wrong for this to break down that low. So I would treat this area here as my point of control, this low. Flow for shop, we saw some dark pool activity at 317.85 right there, and we also had some come down here at 305 range. Flow, even though these are bid, they're being hit ask, bid, 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 ask, and then as well some up here. And here's another 320 at ask. I would say that this is bullish flow. Check out IV here. IV did decrease, but price action has been pretty good. We're seeing minimal flow overall. That's at a larger dollar nomination. Let's remove that and see what's happening. We did have a put come in at ask for 48, 135,000 at the 315. Let's check this out. Yeah, looks like someone's actually putting some money into this compared to how it has been, which is nice. You know, if you're gonna be shooting to catch a knife, right? That's very risky. But catching after it's consolidated, you know, so they finally sellers are looking to get. I would say we have some seller's exhaustion on the 1 year daily. It's finally no longer catching a knife as it has bounced and stuck around this level, this 297.64 level. Flow is looking like some 315 calls, and these are all small dollar nominations. I really would like to see millions come in here, but the 315 call, that was a single day scalp, so those have expired. Heat map shows some 320s for next week. I'm personally long the 400 calls for 715. So we have dark pool print at 317.85 as well as right down here at 305. So as long as price can remain above this 305, I will stick in it. So we'll do X next. That's US steel. What I'd like to see this do, much like CLF, is I want it to hold this low. I would like it to break through the 2114, target the 2393 level, and then break above here for a shift in structure. This high on this candle here is 2664. So at 1989, that's a pretty big move for X, but those would be my targets. So let's check out what flow says for this one. Flow for X, we'll filter this out to a larger dollar nomination. We're looking at some puts at ask for 715 next OPEX. We're also looking at, we have some 20 calls at ask. Now this is 1,400 contracts, this is 1,100 contracts. Same expiry. Check out the heat map. So the 20 call 2 weeks out looks good. It looks like they were buying to open the 22 call for this coming week, and then they were buying to open the 24 call for 2 weeks out. So these 1805s right here that were at bid could have been rollouts. It looks like they've sold puts on the 15 and the 16, as well as the 18. So, you know, for delta hedging purposes, you could see the 15, 16, and 18 as your major areas of support from a dealer perspective. ExxonMobil is next. We're looking at, well, price has been falling. We're looking for 83.07, this upper value area to hold. If it can hold, we would be targeting the 86.95 level to 88.31 to 94 and then 95.9. At 95.5, I'd be out if you can add at this 83.07 level. Now be mindful that if 83.07 does give out, your next price target is going to be 79.29. And I would say this low, but there's really not much here to make me feel bullish, you know. So it would almost be a straight knife down to this next area of 61.43. Now that's pretty far out there, but you have to be mindful that it could continue to drop, especially because it was dropping on increasing volume, and that's not something that you like to see. See this? Volume's just going up. So for Exxon, we're looking at 86.12, many dark pool prints there, as well as 86.55. Price is currently at 85.84, so it is below these dark pool prints. We're seeing heavy ass side puts at the 80 strike for this coming week. And let's increase this because there's a lot going on here. Now I want to get rid of these whites. Let's just see what exceeded open interest. 84 calls being sold at bid. for this coming week, and then the 80 puts at ask. This is really bearish bet. Heat map shows us. Okay. We have people who looks like they took profit on their puts that they had for this week, and they sold puts out to next week. These calls all have been taken profit on, the 90s and 91. So if I was following flow and I wanted to make a bet that this was going to continue to come down, I would definitely take these 80 or 82 puts for this coming week. And in order for that to happen, though, this 85.66 needs to be taken out. Upstart's next, and if you know me, you know I have a rough time with Upstart. Love-hate relationship. So what I'd like to see is for 25.43 to continue to hold in a macro sense. Now on a smaller time scale, I need 30.61 to hold. All right, below 30.61 opens that door back up to 25.43, and we're already trading below the IPO price. So in order to be bullish, I really would like to see Upstart. I could say 35.30, but that's not good enough because the spread is too illiquid. So I really would like to see 37.98 get taken out. You take that out, we're going to ride her up to 44.29 and then 52.60. Above 52.60, we're going to be targeting 69.39 and then the yearly point of control at 118.64. Now that's a huge jump, right? That's almost a 4x. So just treating it small. If I were hopping in this play with commons, because I don't trust it enough to go with options, if I was taking this play with commons, that's what I would be looking for. Remain above 35.13, go into the 44.29, get out by 52.60. All right, wait for 54.69 to get taken. Upstart flow, we have the 36 puts on the bid. We have some 35 calls at ask for this coming week. These are expired by now. Take a look at the heat map. Yep, we can see the 35 calls, and we can see these 36 puts. Well, they expired. So the only thing we're really looking at is these 35 calls for this coming week, and it's a small dollar amount, 41,000. That's really nothing. Next one is LUV. Nothing's really changed as far as this one's concerned. 34.36 was a low from Friday, and I would still look for that to hold, but now we are back above the 35.63 range. If you remember when I did take those 35 calls, I said to cut if it broke 35.10, and it looked, the whale did bail on those. I went back and checked. So the second it broke through 35.10, it did create a new low. You know, this setup I did like, but the fact that the whale got out of it makes me not really trust it. Let's see what flow looked like. We did have a dark pool print at 35.25 for 8.8 million. We have a lot of 25 puts on the bid, as well as a 36 call on the bid, and these are small dollar amounts. And we can view that in the heat map. So if you're still in the play, 35.25 must hold. If you get through this, you're probably going to test this low again, and if it gives out, there's a lot more room for it to fall.